What is up, good people? It's time for the newest edition, actually the 13th edition, Season 3, Notes by Notes, right here on Facebook and YouTube. I got the crew back in the stew. The full squad is here, baby, and we're ready to turn up. AP, what's good?
What's good? Everything's great over here, Jay. How about you guys?
Hey, we're just here to help you celebrate, you know, from this birthday. We saw you turning up at the Toby and Weekway concert. You know what I'm saying?
You got, if you know, you know. If you don't know, you better get cold. Get in there.
K-Dot, what's good, my man?
Life. Yes, sir.
Love to hear. Before we get started with this edition of Notes by Notes, let me tell you about our great friends over at A to Z for Skin and Hair. A to Z for Skin and Hair offers a bevy of hair and skin products that have no preservatives and are made with love. Like their rice water, which is used to promote healthy, strong growth of the hair and prevent dandruff. Their moisturizing hair butter for everyday styling. Rapid growth, which is a perfect mix of all natural oils. And you know I can't forget the Gang Beard Oil, which I put on before the show and I use it every single day. To contact A to Z for Skin and Hair to find out more about their products, give them a call at 469-674-5567. Once again, that's 469-674-5567. Are y'all ready for a fire edition of this week's show?
Where's the lighter? Yes.
I got lighters.
Put your lighters up.
Put your lighters up. Put your lighters up. Put your lighters up. Hey, let's go!
You've heard of hot takes, and you're probably tired of hearing the same old talking heads repeating the same stuff over and over again. The time has come for the game to evolve, and just like in sports, there are a select number of individuals who are leading the evolution of change and pushing the game forward. This isn't just a sports podcast. This podcast is about how life, culture, and sports all meet at one intersection. This is the new wave. This is the new sound. This is the evolution. This is the Notes by Notes podcast, where we discuss life, culture, and sports.
And welcome into the newest 13th edition of Season 3 of Notes by Notes. Super happy to be back on the airways. Full crew here in the stew. Man, I'm feeling good. It's right, you know, it's like it feels like the Christmas spirit. You know what I'm saying? My heart is full right now. It's full. I missed you guys.
It's you too, Jay. We got the memos. See, we the Christmas twins here.
Yeah.
Oh,
The red, the green.
Somebody might have thought Mario and Luigi, but no, that's not the case. That's not the case. It's Christmas, okay?
Christmas.
This is Jolly and Cheers. What this is.
So
Yeah.
what does the khaki hat stand for?
By humbug, but it's okay. We love you still.
Well, y'all told me a long time ago, white tee, like, it's cool. Like, this is like the weekly uniform for me. Like, I'm chilling, you know. I ain't trying to get all dressed up and stuff. I mean, I really don't have the swag to do it right now, but
I thought you was going to have a Christmas hat on. That's all I'm alluding to.
Yeah, I mean, hey, it's cool you hate Christmas. It's fine. It's
Sorry,
cool.
Grinch.
Yeah.
what?
Sorry, Grinch.
What?
The neighborhood thinks you love Christmas.
But deep down inside, I
Deep
don't.
down, get it out. A tiny
Fake
little
it till
heart.
you make it. Fake it till you make it.
A tiny little heart.
You see how they attack me and I just welcome them with season's greetings? This is bull. This is malarkey. Okay? Nah, we're so happy to have you guys in. Thank you so much for watching this edition. Man, it's just been an awesome week. Christmas cheer in the air. I am super excited about everything that's coming up. Also, we got to give you guys an update on the Notes by Notes fantasy football playoffs. It's going to be a good one. My wife wanted to make sure I gave her the proper shout out. She is going into the playoffs as the number 1 seed.
Let's go. She was 2 last week, right?
Yeah, she was 2.
That's what's
and
up.
she did handle her business.
Did that damn thing. Okay.
What? Man, I'm out of the playoffs in 2 leagues. And in our league, I'm at the 5th spot. So I got to play this week. So I'm not extremely happy about that. So real quick, before we get into the meat and potatoes, the main dish of the show, It's time for a heat check. Are y'all ready for a heat check?
It's pretty warm here. Let's turn it up.
Heat check!
It's hot because that old ass laptop creating all that heat.
Look, I ain't gonna lie. This thing is kind of warm right now. It's bad. It's from like the 90s. It's from the 90s.
Hey, it was a good decade though. It's a good time.
Yeah, definitely a good time. Definitely a good time. So first things first, let's talk about Deion Sanders in Jackson State shaking up the world of college football by securing the number 1 recruit in the nation. Had him commit to a HBCU with a litany of many other offers. He could have went to Ohio State. He could have went to Alabama. He could have went to Texas. He could have went to OU. He decided that he wanted to learn from one of the NFL's greatest players. And what's crazy to me is I just don't get the backlash that this guy is getting for committing to Jackson State. I mean, it's crazy to me. And people mention exposure as number 1. And I'm like, yo, exposure is not a thing. They create the exposure. And that's why the NCAA is so messed up, because the schools dictate the exposure at these Power 5 schools. In the SWAC, in any Power 5 or any Group of 5 school, the players attract the exposure.
That's right.
But I really think Deion Sanders shifted a lot. Like, he shifted the landscape in college football. And I believe that now that he's securing top prospects and having them come to Jackson State University, it's going to do wonders not only for that specific university, it's going to do wonders for HBCUs and minor college football conferences. It's going to do wonders for them in the future. So how does it land for you to start, AP? How does it land for you?
I'm ecstatic. You know, I think that it's an amazing move. First of all, for the young guy, I think that if nothing else, this is definitely going to set the way for top performers to feel comfortable making this decision. Mm-hmm. It's been talked about for a while. You know, there's always been like, oh, we need the exposure, we need this, we need that. And there's been some notable people who've come out of HBCUs in history, you know what I mean? But it's never been something that's been widely talked about as far as like commits and recruits. So I think that it's a good move for, you know, especially with the NIL. I've talked pretty much against it this entire time. You know, y'all know I feel like you got to have a heart for the game.
Yep.
And you got to put it on the court, put it on the field before you start getting a check for it, because it can change the mentality. But this type of move makes me comfortable. You know what I mean? I think that it's reserved for kids to do stuff like this. You know what I mean? To be able to take that leap of faith. You know you're the brand. You know that you are the trophy. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? You can go anywhere in the world. Go anywhere in the world, Greg.
Anywhere in the world, Greg.
You gotta be right here with me. So, you know, I think that it's awesome that, you know, he's taking his talents to a HBCU. I think, you know, much respect to him, and, you know, shout out to Deion. I don't think that Deion probably had to do a lot of work. You know, a lot of these young kids, these millennials, they coming out with this mindset of, I want to do what's best for me and I want to be comfortable. I think about the mindset of a lot of these, you know, elite players that have gone through, you know, programs that weren't built for them. Mm-hmm. And the outcome, you know what I mean, to be, you know, nurtured in an environment that supports you and roots you on. I think that it's only going to make him a greater player wherever he ends up at after his college career.
Solid points. I love that. K-Dot, what you thinking over there, my friend?
Let me start by saying, look at the progress. I mean, it's something to really admire at this point, where we gotten with the NIL. Because once upon a time, Des Bryant was suspended for a whole season in college football. And in some ways, is considered a problem child. That's why he fell to the Cowboys when he did in the draft, because he thought he had behavioral issues. For what? Because he had lunch with Deion Sanders to discuss his future in the NFL. Now look at us.
Yep.
Fast forward to 2021. Now, Deion's someone you go to. When you have options, if you're a kid and you're trying to figure out your future past college as number 1 recruit, chances are things go right. You're looking at money, right? Who are you going to rely on? Deion, who's been there and done that and seen it all the way through to the point where, I mean, he's been on TV for sportscasting. Now he's a coach. He can do whatever he wants in any facet of the game. Or are you going to go with Mike Norvell, which I know what you're thinking. Who? Exactly. That's the coach of Florida State.
Yeah.
Who's been in a rebuild since
Who?
Since
Mike
Jameis-
Jones.
Yeah. Ace time. They've been in a rebuild since Jameis left.
Yeah.
Now, they were once a storied program, but are they going to turn it around in the 3 years he's going to be in school? No.
No.
So, I mean, do you want to go be, fourth place in the ACC and, be another guy in a group of other top recruits in the country, or do you want to go be the guy in Jackson State?
Right.
With Deion to kind of take you under his wing? It's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no better person to help cultivate that talent. And what I think about, too, it's my favorite story in the history of the Combine. Y'all remember Deion and the show he put on in Indianapolis?
Yeah. Yeah.
Shows up, Jerry curl, chains, gets off of a private jet onto a limo to the stadium, walks in, gets out of his sweats, does one of these little stretch moves real quick, and then boom, 4.240.
Yep.
Goes back in the jet, back home. That's all I need to show. And when he talked to the Giants, he's like, wait, so when do y'all pick? Oh, 9th? Yeah, I won't be around by then. I'm not reading this shit. And gave him the playbook back. He's like, nah, I'm not doing that. Like, that kind of confidence landed him where he is.
Right.
Neon Deion. The guy was, a multi-sport athlete with a rap career. You remember that?
Oh, yeah, I do.
It wasn't good, but he did it. So, yeah, if I'm 18, 19, I'm going with Deion all day. It's a no-brainer.
Yeah, and I don't only think that it's all about Deion. I also think that these players really don't value the college football playoff national championship any longer because they see how biased it is with the CFP committee.
Right.
They don't feel like back in the olden days where it was, oh, well, I'm going to this university to increase my chances of being on a national championship team.
Right.
And it's not like that anymore. Really, like you guys alluded to, the NIL is what speaks. You have Deion Sanders, who has a deal with Barstool, has a deal with Under Armour. He's actually putting names on the back of players' jerseys, something that has never been done in the SWAC before. So when you look at it, he's bringing a lot of similarities to the SWAC that's in Division I football, like in Power 5 competition. So he's creating this place, this university for these players to come. Not only are they incentivized culturally, but they're also incentivized with the NIL deals. Also, they get to learn from the greatest player, one of the greatest players to ever play defensive back, arguably like a top 15 NFL great as well.
Yeah.
And then they get to build something. I don't know about y'all, but building something does something to me personally. Just starting from scratch and saying, yo, this is going to be the cornerstone of whatever is going to be. And then we build off of that, and then we get bigger, And at the end of the day, the beneficiaries is going to be Jackson State.
Yeah.
Whenever Deion Sanders decides to leave, that university is still going to be pulling 5-star recruits. That's what he's trying to do. And I don't know if by the time that we get there, I don't know if any Power 5 school is going to be able to compete with that, at least while Deion Sanders is there. You know what I mean? And just like K-Dot said, why go play for this guy named Mike Norvell, who has no similarities to me, doesn't look like me, can't teach me how to be an NFL player because there's really no NFL players on your roster. Like, there's a lot of incentives for players to go to Jackson State.
Yeah.
And primarily, number one, is because when they go there, they'll be culturally incentivized. And not only that, I'm sure Deion will teach them some money tips too.
Yeah.
Like, that's a big sell. That's a huge sell. Like, rookie symposium, go to the NFL, you kind of know what to expect at that point, because you've been managed by somebody who's been in that position and actually was in that position when there was less regulation surrounding the draft, surrounding how much you can make whenever you're drafted in the first round. So I just think it's a win-win for all of these players.
Yeah, let's not forget Deion ain't new to this. He true to this. He started a youth sports league in this area. He started a school, a prep school in this area. Like, he built everything he's doing right now. It's not like he hasn't done the work to get there. A lot of people are just kind of, he's just another NFL person inserting his greatness into, just deciding what he want to do next.
Exactly.
He literally has been doing this for years since he's gotten out of the NFL. So I'm really excited to see him prosper in something, as far as being the head coach over at Jacksonville. At Jackson State, excuse me. I think it's awesome. I just love what he's doing with the program, and I think that this is just evidence of hard work for sure.
100%. 100%. Also, I just remembered this. Whenever he built Prime Prep in Dallas, people were like, this school is not going to work. It's not going to work. Unfortunately, it didn't work. But during that process, he actually pulled Emmanuel Mudiay, the #1 prospect in high school in basketball, to come play for Prime Prep. And at the time, everybody was like, what? He actually did this? And the whole Metroplex was surprised by it. So, like you said, he's been doing this for a long time. So he knows how to get the kids' attention. So I guess we're closing up on y'all got anything else on Deion Sanders? Neon Deion?
Showtime.
Y'all want to high step into the end zone?
Well, you mentioned other recruits too. I knew there was a tie. I thought it was his son, but he's got a tie with Noel Devine, which is one of the top recruits as far as running backs to ever come out of high school as well.
Oh, yeah, that's
so
true.
Deion and him had a relationship going back to him being in high school. I think they went to the same high school. That's the tie. I thought it was his son or like nephew. They graduated from the same place is what it was. So,
okay.
But he's been cultivating this culture and trying to build and hype and amp people up for years. And we talked about every facet of the game. Like anything involved with football, he's supportive of. So, I mean, you got to respect that.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. So, quick segue over to this because this is just hilarious. If y'all follow the show in season 2, when me and Joe did it live, what's up, Joe? Shout out to you, bro. We miss you, dog. We miss you.
Come on down.
Hearts for Joe.
Hearts for Joe. Joe Scanlon. That's our guy. That's our guy. But whenever Urban Meyer was hired by the Jacksonville Jaguars, we did a show. And I actually said that Urban Meyer, I said this. If it came down to it, and Jacksonville had to choose between the two, Urban Meyer or Trevor Lawrence, and they were there for 4 years, who would they choose? Who would Shad Khan choose in that hypothetical situation? I said he would roll with Trevor Lawrence. Urban Meyer was fired by the Jacksonville Jaguars 13 games into the 2021 season. Not only that, he kicked a kicker. How ironic is that? He kicked the kicker and told him to start making kicks. And the kicker was Josh Lambo. And as soon as he did that in practice, he said, yo, you need to stop or I'm going to do something to you. And he was like, Urban Meyer said in this article, he said, I'm the head ball coach. I could do whatever I want. Now, if we look back in retrospect to the situation with him in the bar, with that 25, 26-year-old young lady, this was a problem from the start. I mean, I could see it from a mile away. And everybody was like, yo, Urban Meyer's going to work in Jacksonville. Urban Meyer, he's a great college coach. He's going to work. He's going to work. Well, sometimes when you are a college coach and you look back at some of the situations Urban Meyer has been in, like at Florida, at Ohio State, I mean, it's pretty telling that he wasn't going to last in Jacksonville. Like, you could kind of see it coming that he wasn't going to last. And also, Trevor Lawrence went on record today and said, now that he's gone, there's more clarity and there's a sense of direction. What an indictment on who you are as a head coach for one of your players to say that. Not only that, he's the first overall draft pick. Like, players don't go out of their way to say certain things about coaches if it's not true. So I kind of saw it coming. K-Dot, how did that land for you?
All right, so Suburban Meyer. First and foremost, the kicker? What kind of bitch move is that? What kind of bully are you where you're going after the kicker? Go kick an offensive lineman at 6'6", 320.
Oh, no, he ain't doing that.
That's some hoe shit. Like, no. So,
K-Dot, go ahead.
Okay, so what you can get away with in college, you can't do in the NFL.
Yeah.
College, there are towns that are dependent upon the college as their economy. Like, look at A&M. Without A&M as a school, what's College Station? A blip on the map. That's it.
Dirt road.
A lot of places are like that. You can get away with that shit because they'll sweep things under the rug. You can do whatever you please because, end of the day, you run the show.
Right.
The NFL, you're not bigger than the badge. No player, no owner. They'll take teams away. They'll fire people. Doesn't matter who you are. No one is exempt from the punishment coming from the badge. So that idea that he thought he could get away with that, and if he can't get away with it in Jacksonville, I mean, that's the worst market in the NFL. You snuck into the NFL on the back end, kind of like, all right, we'll throw you the Jags, see how you do. Couldn't even make it for a full season. So it's a no-brainer. You've got to go with Lawrence. Absolutely.
Always.
And you've got to pick a lane. I'm glad they did it as early as they did. Don't waste, Lawrence's career, him not developing the way that he should. He's having a rough rookie season. Peyton Manning did too. It's hard to assess any quarterback at 21, 22 years old, especially with his type. He's not so much athletic prowess. He's the prototypical quarterback, 6'5", strong arm. Mm-hmm. So he needs to learn how to read defenses in the NFL and kind of get up to that speed. So get rid of Meyer, get someone else back in there, and let him get developed. I mean, because it's a gamble they're going to have for at least 4 years, maybe 5 if they pick up the option, right? So It's not going to happen overnight. So I like the move by the Jags. That's the most bold thing they've done, maybe in their existence as a franchise. But I'm all here for it.
Man, we're all in line here. We're all in agreement. AP, what you think?
I mean, obviously.
For obvious reasons.
For obvious reasons.
Please find a way to defend Urban Meyer for me.
Well, he can look like he got some rhythm. I will say, when the girl was backing it up on him, he was on beat, and I think that's a reason he should stay.
So he should be on Dancing with the Stars now.
At least give him a shot.
He ain't dancing with no dancers rope with nobody.
WTS. Holla at Urban. He's available. And I hear he has a mean two-step, or at least a kick.
Oh, my God.
No, but honestly, I'm not surprised by it. I think it's a little late, if you ask me. I mean, he hasn't been turning over, wins like he's supposed to. I mean, realistically, this has been ongoing. It's been incident after incident. It's been stuff that's been under the radar. It's been, just reports from the inside coming out. You know what I mean? The office is talking about turmoil. All month we've been hearing about stuff. So after that kick with Josh Lambo, it was just literally a matter of time. I mean, the guy spoke out about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't like this happened and it was whispers. He told the news, like, yeah, this motherfucker.
Ooh, there it goes. We're getting it out before the end of the quarter.
Sorry. I gotta put some money in the swear jar. Sorry. Anyway, what I was saying was, I'm not surprised. Urban, have a good Christmas, man. You got plenty of time to spend the holidays with your family and your loved ones and your side pieces too.
Yo,
sorry.
I like how you
got yours out for the quarter. I told you, one a quarter. I think K-Dot got his out last week, right?
Did I?
No, you didn't.
I censored it.
Yeah, you did. You was like,
yeah.
He was that close.
I think I caught it, but I mean, I think it was too late. The people knew what was coming.
Yeah, they do. Just like we all knew that Urban Meyer was going to be canned.
Exactly.
I really think it's one thing to come in and not build to say that you're going to build a culture and you don't. It's another thing to not only do that, but also chastise the players that you have. And these guys are full-grown men. There's no reason for him to be acting like a petulant child. And I use the word petulant because, some of his actions are just childish moves. And, it all stems back in Florida. It all comes from Ohio State. It all comes from the situation with the young lady in Ohio in his own bar. I just think Urban Meyer needs a little dose of self-awareness to a degree. Mm-hmm. Definitely some self-awareness. So that wraps up the Heat Check. Fiery edition of the Heat Check. Hot. Oh, man, that sounds like a Lil Wayne mixtape.
The Carter.
Yeah, the Carter. Oh, man.
Fireman.
There it is.
I got him.
That was my favorite. Fresh
hot.
on the campus is the Birdman Jr. Money too long, teachers put away your rulers.
Yes.
Cartoon. Favorite album. Carter 2 goes hard. Sorry, y'all. We're off.
It's all right.
We're having a good time. We're having a good time.
Free yourself. Let it out.
Yeah, just let it out. Get it off your chest. So, it's time for the main course here. It's time to talk about, the name of this episode is When It's Up, Then It's Up. And you kind of hear the Cardi B music going on in the background. You know what I'm saying?
Then it's up.
Yeah. So today we are going to break down the NFC playoff picture and the AFC playoff picture It's a really tight race in the NFC, which we're going to start off with first. K-Dot, if you give me some playoff rankings, because my old analog computer does not want to come up. But the NFC playoff picture itself is very murky as it stands. There are a ton of teams that are sitting at like 6 and 7, 5 and 8. I mean, it's just so many teams that can easily rise at the bottom and move up to the top.
Yep.
When you look at the NFC West, that's still up in the air. When you look at the NFC South, I mean, Tampa Bay seems to have clinched that, but who knows what can happen in the final 4 weeks. You look at the NFC East, Dallas is up 3 games. And then you look at the NFC, which one? I said West, South, and the North. Green Bay clearly has that one. So really what we're talking about, we're talking about the 4th spot where the Cowboys are possibly. We're talking about the Arizona Cardinals at the 2nd spot because of the NFC West race being so tight. And then we're also talking about potentially the NFC, not NFC North, not NFC West, NFC South, possibly having a wild card team in there as well. Number one, let me just say, the best team in football right now is clearly the Green Bay Packers.
Yep.
100%. It's the Green Bay Packers. They're the number 1 seed for a reason. Aaron Rodgers, even though he has been in the news quite a bit since this past offseason about, his vaccination status and all that stuff, he has rallied the guys, galvanized the troops, and has this team playing at a much higher level than anticipated. So, I just want to say that real quick, that the Green Bay Packers are my number 1 team in the NFC. I think they're the best team in football as well. K-Dot, who do you have as the best team in football, and who should be the number 1 seed at the end of this season?
Well, you need to double check yourself, because as good as Green Bay looks right now, heat check right now, the Chiefs are 7-0 in their last. They won 7 straight.
Yeah.
3-4, just like any other time. It's the same as applies to a game. You watch them for the first half, like Chiefs are done. They come out 3rd and 4th quarter and just ball out. They do that in the season too. It's like they just kind of wake up, like, all right, guys, let's get it together, just take the dust off, and just go be an MVP Super Bowl contender like Pat Mahomes seems to do every year.
Yeah.
That's why when he signed a $500 million contract, nobody even batted an eye.
Yeah.
Like $500 million? Yeah, that's about right. like $500 million? Like, yeah, it's worth it. Good on KC. Green Bay looks great. They do play in a weak division. I'm going to go best team in football. I would go KC only because the AFC is a weaker conference. As good as Green Bay is, the NFC is stacked. We've got 5 teams with 9 or more wins. So that's scary. In the AFC, you've got the Chiefs, and then the Pats, I don't think any of us are really sold on, as good as they're playing.
Yeah.
And, I mean, Tennessee, when's Henry coming back? Because you guys are playing really well without your best offensive weapon. But unless he's back, I can't put them deep in the playoffs.
Oh, man. Well, what about the NFC, though? So you think the Packers are the best team in the NFC, or who do you have in the NFC? Because we'll get to the AFC in just a second. But
I've got to go Bucks.
Got to go Bucks?
Just because they're proven. And Aaron Rodgers doesn't win the big games. He's done it the once. But Brady's proven. And, I mean, they're the reigning champ. It's hard to put money against them until, proven otherwise. So
I like it. I like it here. I like it.
Now, as far as the individual divisions, NFC, I mean, you've got your division leaders. I don't think Arizona's a lock like we once thought they were.
I don't think they are.
Hop is out. Hop is out for the rest of the season. You take away one of the best receivers in football, that's going to do something to their offense. You pair that with the momentum, just took the wind out of their sails when the Rams whooped that ass. I mean, the score doesn't indicate how one-sided it was, but aside from your division leaders, I mean, Rams and Cardinals will both make playoffs. This is one of your wild card seeds. The second one, I mean, Vikings seem to have the most talent of the 6 and 7 teams. The Niners at 7 and 6, but you have a lot of division games coming up towards the end of the season. I think maybe the Foreskins have a good chance because they're going to play the Eagles and they're going to play the Giants to wrap up. And Eagles or the bitch pigeons. So because of their weak division schedule at the end, they have a good chance of getting that last wild card spot by default. So
K-Dot go ham on them. He like, I don't care about the NFC East.
He's doing it with such class.
Yeah.
Though. Just rolling through it.
The bitch,
The bitch pigeons.
I didn't have to mention the Little Giants because they're 4-9, so we're gonna skip that. So
Oh my God, good stuff, K-Dot. Good stuff. AP, what you think about the NFC playoff picture? Who would you take as your number one team in your rankings, and who's the best team in football right now as it stands?
I'm gonna see. So personally, I think that between Green Bay Cardinals and Buccaneers, I don't think that any of them are losing these next few games. Mm-hmm. So I think it's still going to be pretty much a tight lock between those three taking it or going all the way. As far as the best team out of all of them, I don't know. I like Green Bay. I think Green Bay has been playing solid football. They've been doing their thing, and I don't see anything as long as they stay healthy and stay hardcore. I think they'll be fine. I think that they're probably going to be the ones that we're going to see at the end of the game. I mean, at the end of the show, sitting at the top. As far as people that can get in there, Cowboys. I got to say, I think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Their next few lineups, I think that they got more chance of winning. I think that they might be like worst come to worst, 2-2.
Don't say that.
Worst come to worst. But I think that they really are finna finish out strong. They got their pieces back together. Rams are kicking ass though.
Yeah.
Rams shut down the Cards, and like he said, he made a good point about the Cards. I was really thinking that the Cards is gonna be my number one going into the finish for the NFC, but I think I'm gonna have to stick with Green Bay on this one to take it to the end.
Man, y'all mentioned the Cardinals. I had to write it down because I wanted to come back to that because honestly,
I love them.
I do, but the way that they play is not sustainable, and we see that, especially when you go up against a team as physical as the Los Angeles Rams. I mean, they got that all in their division. Mm-hmm. I mean, when they match up against the 49ers again, that's going to be, a bloodbath. Like, it's the NFC West is not easy by any means, and I think the Cardinals, yes, they went on this run to start the season, and it's a big-time story, but what do the Cardinals do whenever they are great? The greatest year that they had was in the Super Bowl with Larry Fitzgerald. They lost that to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Off the toe tap by Santonio Holmes.
It's an amazing catch.
Amazing catch. I mean, all credit to Santonio Holmes in that moment.
James Harrison, that pick return to end the half, that turned the game around.
Dude, that was one of the greatest Super Bowls. But whenever this team gets to a point to where people consider them to be great, they never answer the call. And here's my issue, too. Kyler Murray, for what it's worth, I think he is spectacular. But
it's that Longhorn coming down on you right now.
Oh man! But yeah, I gotta throw in some bias here.
Shade.
But I think that the reason why Arizona's level of play or the way that they play is not sustainable is because of Kyler Murray. When you drop a play as a quarterback, or when your OC gives you a play, your head coach Cliff Kingsbury gives you a play, it's your job at the line to check. Look for different opportunities inside that defense based off of what you see. Sometimes Kyler Murray doesn't do a lot of checks, and sometimes he does. Sometimes it's a hyper check. Sometimes it's I'm gonna try to make something happen on my own.
Yeah.
And when you play great teams like the Rams, or great defenses, physical defenses like the Rams, like the 49ers. I mean, hell, you could even throw the Cowboys in there the way that they played against Washington. When you play teams that can make plays and create turnovers, you're not going to get too far. Like, especially, think about this. Trayvon Diggs covering A.J. Green or DeAndre Hopkins right now, and Kyler Murray is just running for his life with that pass rush coming through.
Mm-hmm. He do a lot of running.
He does. I was actually talking about the way Pat Mahomes runs last night. I forgot what I said, but it was like so funny. I was like, Pat Mahomes runs like, I don't know. He looks like everything's moving, but nothing's moving. It's like like a fat chicken. Like that's why I described him as, But I think Kyler Murray he doesn't allow plays to develop as naturally as they should. And I think that could be a hindrance on this Cardinals team. To me, I do have the pick. I do have the Packers being. I mean, they should be the number one seed in the NFC, but I do think that the Buccaneers have a really solid chance of dethroning them. I mean, You got to see what happens in the next couple of games. But if the Buccaneers get to the first seed, it's going to be kind of tough with the road going to the Super Bowl, going through Tampa. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I'm not a believer in the Cardinals right now, and I see y'all not giving my Cowboys no love.
I said they're gonna be there. They're not gonna be number one. I don't see that.
Oh man, ain't giving them no love.
Well, they have an easy schedule to close out. That's the one thing they have, at their advantage. But I think Green Bay making it is contingent upon them getting home field advantage. If you have to go through Lambeau, it's a different story. Now, where Brady is good in cold weather, that offense isn't designed to run in cold weather.
Oh no.
So, and you talked about Pat Mahomes running funny. Kyler Murray looks like a baby that stole candy.
He looks like Baby Yoda.
The thing that scares me about him too is running's fine, except he's 5'10", 200 pounds soaking wet.
Yep.
He can't take those hits. It reminds me of Vic, because Vic was a small guy. Vic's career was shorter than it should have been. I mean, minus the dogfighting. Because of his size. He can't take those hits. Because you have guys at like 280, 300 pounds pancaking you. Guys like Big Ben, who's like 6'5", 260, that size makes a difference as far as your longevity in the NFL. So as far as him like better reading plays, he's got to get the ball out faster. Look at like Drew Brees. As short as he was, threw in his tippy toes to see over the line. But Brees had the ball out.
Yeah.
He had a 5-step drop and that ball was out quick. Kyler's got to get back to that before he has a career cut short. So that's why when they have runs like this, it's pertinent that they make something out of it. Like you said, they don't answer the call. They need to early on before something happens to him, and God forbid something happens to his career. So I'm rooting for him. I like the guy. He's not a Sooner anymore, so I'm allowed to root for him. Fun to watch, but with Hop being out, I mean, and back to those kind of makeshift plays. You can do that with Hopkins.
Yeah, Hop is perfect for that.
That Hail Mary against Buffalo in triple coverage, that's what he does. But without him, I mean, you can't rely on A.J. Green. No. He's not the guy. He's a great compliment, but without him there, I think we're calling it all in agreement between Tampa or Green Bay. It's a coin flip. I mean, can't go wrong.
I'm on point with both of y'all.
We know who is not.
Who?
I'm just saying. Just in general.
Who's
we haven't
not?
talked about them.
The Titans? The Titans?
Now, Jay.
I'm sorry.
Now,
Jay.
And honestly, we got to
run the film.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's the Rams either, because they have the most top-heavy team. They have the best receiving core.
I don't believe in the Rams. I don't believe in the Rams.
They have the best cornerback in football, the best pass rusher in football, and the best receiving core in football. They have pieces. It's a matter of can they get it cohesive enough to bring it all together.
This is the reason why, like we talked about with the Cowboys, why I don't believe in the Rams, because they don't have a running game. You can't just, in the playoffs or even in January, December, you can't just empty out the backfield, put 5 wide, and expect for these guys to catch a 59-yard bomb every single time. You're not. So here they
Mahomes did. The Chiefs did it.
I mean, it took some time. It took some time. It took some continuity. I mean, he has the fastest wide receiver in the league in Tyreek Hill.
That was his second season.
I'm just saying. So look at this. They play the Seahawks this upcoming week. Are they going to line up 5 wide and be successful against Seattle? I don't know. Are they going to line up 5 wide and be successful against San Francisco? I don't know. Are they going to do that against the Cowboys? I don't know. And they can't do it against Washington because we saw what Washington can do when their defense is playing lights out. Yeah. So, I mean, when you're playing just quarterback play, no running game, you're going to struggle. Because at this point in the season, these defenses, they're tired. How do you bear down these defenses? You run the football. When you don't have a running game, I can't believe in you. Just like Dallas right now. I mean, I joked. I said, y'all ain't giving them no love. But they ain't got a running game. And God forbid we meet up against the 49ers, per se, in the first round of the playoffs, and we can't run the damn ball. We will be in trouble. Same thing for the Rams, man. When you cannot run the football, it is an issue. When you rely on Matthew Stafford to be this guy who throws for 50 times a game, it is an issue. We have seen it this entire season. And I just can't buy into him. And it's just hard for me to do so because of what I see from them, unfortunately. Arizona, same thing. I can't buy into it. I think they're up and down. I think the most consistent team, the two teams that are most consistent in the NFC right now will be the Packers and the Buccaneers. They're playing lights out. The Buccaneers, I believe, are averaging over 28 points per game in the last 4 games. The Packers, they're scoring touchdowns. They're creating turnovers. But wait, there's more. They're getting back their linebacker, Za'Darius Smith. They're getting back Jair Alexander. They're getting back a lot of pieces at the end of the season. So I really think that it's Packers, Bucks against the field right now in the NFC.
Something I just pulled up, none of the teams we just talked about are in the top 20 in rushing. Rams, Pack, Bucks.
It's going to be an ugly
are
playoffs.
all outside of the top 20 in rushing. So the question is, who has a more dynamic defense to create plays and get the game turned around? That's where the Rams come in. Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey. I mean, the Bucks, their defense as a unit is great, but what playmaker do they have that you're terrified of? What guy on that side of the ball can you say right now is going to change a game in the playoffs?
Let me throw this in there. The Cowboys. Trayvon Diggs, Neville Gallimore, DeMarcus Lawrence, Micah Parsons, Randy Gregory. They have variety.
And they got
defense.
depth. They can bring you
depth.
different looks, yes.
That's what counts. AP, give us something here.
I mean, y'all getting real deep. Y'all getting real deep about something. I like to wait a little longer to really see. But, I mean, what I will say is that y'all, and you've really done a good job of highlighting it throughout the season so far, is that we really don't know everything that the Cowboys even have to offer yet. We've still yet to see the entirety of, what they can do. We've seen them without Dak, and they've still been able to perform. You know what I mean? They still have been able to hold on. We've seen them, kind of pull different people to the forefront, and they've been able to share the ball. You know what I mean? And to have multiple playmakers on the field when everybody's healthy, I think that, they really do have a shot as far as like being. I don't think that they're not going to be in the playoff, or that they're not going to be, in the running for, top spot. I don't see them as number one right now. But as we've seen week over week with the COVID protocols, with injuries, and we're getting really deep, and the temperature of the game is changing week over week. So I'm not gonna say it's so scary, but for the NFC, it might still be too early to call it, and we don't got much left. But it's so close it's so many teams that are right there that bubble. That bubble's so big, man. There's little bubbles all up in there that can just really change the dynamic of where that playoff potential could go for NFC.
100%.
I think from a subconscious standpoint, what it could be, the reason we're not jumping on the Cardinals or the Cowboys is pedigree. All the other teams we mentioned have been to Super Bowls in the last 5 years.
That's true.
We used to.
Green Bay a little bit longer, but in the last decade at least, we've seen all these quarterbacks, or teams at least, make it to the Super Bowl. The Rams did it with Jared Goff.
Yeah, that's that.
And without Jalen Ramsey. So they got better, exponentially better. So I think it's a subconscious thing. You just kind of expect quarterbacks that have done it are going to be favored. Yeah. I mean, the same applies to most sports, Winners win.
Winners win.
Cream floats to the top, right? I mean, it's just.
I love all the facts behind this here.
I like being an underdog, though. I mean, Dallas, if anything, we picked a bad year to be good,
I know. This will be it for sure. I mean, it's just like the stars never align, no pun intended, never align for the Cowboys.
Ooh. I see what you did there.
Yeah, you saw what I did there. They never align. I mean, there's always something that is off here or there with the Cowboys. What we saw last week against Washington was phenomenal defensive play. How well that they played the pass, played the run, shut down that Washington offense, let them back in a little bit late, but for the most part, they controlled the Washington football team. So, or like Kelly alluded to, the foreskins. Yo, if I didn't already have a podcast title for this show, it would be the foreskins. 100%.
Washington football team is just a mouthful. It's too much.
It's way too much. WFT.
Woofed.
Now, this is more of a AP's backyard right here. Her wheelhouse. So let's talk about the AFC playoff picture here. I mean, as of right now, we got the Chiefs. We got the Chiefs at the top spot. We got the Patriots at the second spot. Titans sitting at the third spot. Baltimore Ravens sitting at the fourth spot. Chargers at the fifth. Colts at the sixth, and at the seventh spot, surprisingly, we got the Buffalo Bills here, sitting at 7-6. Now, if we were to go into, if you would have told me a month ago that Buffalo would be the 7th best team, 7th seeded team in the AFC playoffs, I would have called you crazy.
I think at least you and I, AP, had them picked for Super Bowl favorites.
Yeah, I think y'all did.
Early on, yeah.
I think I'm clipping that. I'm putting it in the show now.
You need to because it happened.
Yeah, you got to hold that L when it happens. You know what I'm saying?
And I also spoke on the Titans very early. And I said I wasn't changing my opinion.
She has not changed her opinion. They're sitting at third spot right now. They're sitting at, I mean, that's really a comfortable spot. But I mean, what's crazy to me is just the variety and the number of bubble teams that they have. You got 4 teams sitting at the 7-6 spot, 5 teams, excuse me, with the Colts, Bills, Browns, Bengals, and Broncos. All of them have a really solid likelihood of making the playoffs. The Steelers sit at the 11th spot, Raiders at the 12th, and Miami Dolphins at the 13th spot. It's a really tight race here, AP. Really tight race. What do you think about this AFC playoff picture? Who is your team that should be favored to finish in the first spot, and who would be the best team in this division right now or in this conference?
All right, so I'm gonna go on record saying Dylan. No, y'all don't. No, but
Spit hot fire.
Best rapper alive. So I mean, realistically, I would love to sit here and say that it's gonna be Titans take all. I still stand beside them being, a strong battle for the finish. Yeah. I'm not giving up on them even without Henry. I definitely didn't even. And I'm gonna throw myself on the sword. I sat here and I dang near broke down when we found out that Henry was gonna be out. But they've proven that they can still win some. They've been able to win some important games without him. Mm-hmm. Now it's really gonna come down to these last few weeks on what's gonna really happen next with them, because we can't afford any other major sit downs. We just can't afford it. So without them being number one, I would have to stand beside the Chiefs as far as being the best in the AFC right now, especially after Thursday night's game. I think that Mahomes really, really showed what he can do in that very tight game against the Chargers. There were some bets going on around me. I didn't put any money on it because I'm not a betting woman. I like to see things play out. But it was down to the last minute, and what he does well, and he's done it well, is that it gets to a point in the game where you think there's no hope, and he literally decides that I'm going to put the team on my back and I'm going to make something shake. It wasn't until he started physically moving the ball, making runs and stuff, that the team was like, hey, all right, let's go. Let's figure this last quarter out. And he was able to do that between him, Kelsey Hill, that trio, as long as they can stay tight and do what they need to do. Oh, man, I really think that the Chiefs can really make some shake. I mean, there were some catches. Whew. There was two catches that literally I didn't even see the ball coming to the receiver's hand. Oh, yeah. I wish there was one on the sideline and there was one in the end zone. And I literally did not see the catch happen until they replayed it. But, I mean, that pocket, that underneath how you target that? Underneath the people's arm and behind the back. I didn't even see the ball.
He's talking about the trickery of Pat Mahomes.
Does that shit like jogging, sidearm?
Yeah, he did and I'm like, whoa, did something happen? But I mean, it's that magic that he just has, and I think that it's just powerful. It's powerful. The defense doesn't see it, and literally, sometimes the offense don't see it either, and that's part of the problem. That he can throw some stuff that don't make no sense sometimes, and that's what the Kansas City Chiefs don't need going into these last few games. He needs to get calculated. He needs to tighten up. As far as my underdog, I'm gonna go with the Bengals.
Oh, I like that pick. Yep.
I'm gonna go with the Bengals. I'd love to see it. I think that they actually been grinding. You know what I mean? Like, as far as where they sit right now, they sit where they sit. Somebody got to be there. But if the sun shines just right, we can see the Bengals in the playoffs as well.
Ooh, let me tell you something that's juicy right here. Packers play the Ravens on Sunday. Ravens are 8-5. If they lose and the Bengals win, there they are.
There they are. That easy.
Ooh, I like that pick, AP. That's fire.
Thank you.
Spit hot fire.
There it is.
We don't got to talk about 11 through 13. They not coming.
Yeah, they ain't coming. They ain't coming.
No chance.
K-Dot, what you think, my man?
I like the Bengals. I mean,
God damn, man. You kill me with that pick. That's a great pick.
Well, and they've been kind of such in the last 3 to 4 weeks, and they've fallen off a bit. But Lamar Jackson being hurt, I feel like momentum is swinging in their favor. Mm-hmm. It's a safe pick. I mean, if anything, they're overachieving. I mean, you get to see Burrow healthy for the first time, and he comes back with his boy Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
What a perfect
Yes.
combination.
Yes.
That was
That's why.
that move was clutch, and dude's showing out. I mean,
Poetry in motion.
Well, we talked about this on fantasy football. He was asleep in the preseason. Now he's balling out like he's having a field day, as he should. And it's a fun team to watch. I mean, and I would call them the underdog. I can't say looking at this lineup. The only other one I could maybe throw out there would be the Colts, only because they were a playoff caliber team missing the quarterback. Now, Wentz is good enough to get them over the hump. They have a good defense. They have a balanced offense, the best running back at the moment because Derrick Henry's out. No, sorry.
It's okay. It happens.
Because Henry's out. And if T.Y. can stay healthy, I mean, they're a very balanced team. But I can't call the Bills an underdog. Based on their record, they are, but they have done nothing but underachieve at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got the talent. It baffles me as far as reads. I mean, you know, people forget Josh Allen was the most improved quarterback maybe ever between 2 years ago and last year. His completion percentage jumped up like 12%, which is an unheard of number for a quarterback in the NFL. But now it looks like people are savvy to it, and he looks lost a lot of times.
Yeah.
Third and fourth quarter, he's not the guy. He's not the one to make a drive and win the game.
Yeah.
That's where I'm losing faith in that team is Josh Allen's leadership when it matters. So Bengals, just to have a different pick, maybe I'll go with the Colts. But I like the Bengals pick. To throw something else out there, I'll say the Colts in the AFC is the underdog.
So y'all are going to be shocked here. I don't trust the Chiefs whatsoever. I don't trust the Chargers whatsoever. I don't trust the Ravens whatsoever. I don't trust the Colts whatsoever. I don't trust the Bills whatsoever. You know what team I actually trust? I trust the Tennessee Titans.
Voila, magic.
And this is why I say that, because with the Titans, they are going to get Derrick Henry back in the playoffs. What wins? Running game in the postseason.
In the trenches.
In the trenches. At the point of attack is where you win football games. I'm a big-time believer in the Patriots. But anybody outside of the Patriots and the Titans right now in the AFC and the Bengals, I love that pick. That pick, I was like, yo, we could set everything on fire in here. Like, it was amazing. Like, I don't know why.
Jay said.
That part on Harold and Kumar, he was like, he was showing the
Hey,
direction. Bouquet! Let's burn this down. But honestly, like, I think that when you talk about the Bengals, like you said, Joe Burrow is doing a lot with not a lot.
Exactly.
Like, Chase is really good. T. Higgins is really good. Uzomoa is the tight end, I think. Uzomoa, he's really good. But what they don't have just yet is an offensive line. Everybody else in the playoffs right now, Chiefs, offensive line. Patriots, offensive line. Titans, offensive line. Baltimore, offensive line. Chargers, offensive line. Colts, best offensive line in the AFC. Bills, second best offensive line in the AFC. For Burrow to be doing what he is doing with the lack of what everybody else has is amazing. But to get back to the Chiefs, here's why I don't trust the Chiefs. You can't just turn the lights on whenever you want. You can't. Look, okay, they did it against the Chargers, but we do know that the first half of that game on Thursday night was very, very choppy. If the Chargers don't turn the ball over, the Chiefs are down 14 points, period. And they're not winning that game. It doesn't matter if Travis Kelce scores at the end of the fourth quarter or not. They're still down by a touchdown if the Chargers don't fumble and Jared Cook catches that touchdown pass. I just think the streaky thing has worked. And what we saw when Tampa Bay went up against Kansas City, we saw an example of in the Super Bowl last year. We saw Kansas City thought, oh, we could turn on the lights right now.
Right. Too late.
It's way too late. Tampa Bay came in and physically abused them, pushed them around the field, We forgot how dominant the Kansas City Chiefs offense was because of how physical Tampa Bay was. And let me tell you something. If the Chiefs meet up with the Patriots, they're getting bullied. If they meet up with the Titans, they're getting bullied. If the Ravens meet up with the Chiefs or with the Patriots or the Titans, they're getting bullied. If the Chargers do the same, they're all going to get bullied by someone who wins or a team that wins at the point of attack. Right. So I'm not in on the Chiefs. I get it. Pat Mahomes is electrifying. But what are you going to do in the AFC Championship and you can't get the rest of the team to turn the lights on? I mean, that's a lot to ask. Yes, they're on this win streak, a 7-game win streak. That's in the regular season. When the playoffs hit, it's a whole new ball game.
Only take one game.
Only takes one game. All of these teams are going to be on their A game. And like I said, what wins in the playoffs? What you're doing at the point of attack. The Chiefs only have a few players on the defensive line. Their linebacker core is not that great, and their secondary is not that great. It's going to be tough for the Chiefs to compete, in my opinion. They're at the number 1 spot right now. But I can see the Patriots regaining some momentum and taking that, or the Titans once Derrick Henry comes back and they possibly compete for that number 1 spot. Everybody else, because the Ravens, they're going to lose against the Packers on Sunday. I'm calling that right now. The Chargers already lost to the Chiefs. Let's see. The Colts are going to lose to the Patriots. And, or did I say the Ravens going to lose to the Patriots? Ravens are going to lose to the Packers. Colts are going to lose to the Patriots. And the Bills might mess around and lose to the Panthers. And the Bengals have the Broncos. The Broncos.
Yeah, it'll be that.
They're going to win that. So I'm going to get out my soapbox here. I'm not into the Chiefs this year. I think that they are a remarkable story for the moment. That's recency bias. But let's not forget this team was 3-4 to start the season. Mm-hmm. I mean, take it for what you want. But my bubble team would also be the Bengals. But the number 1 team that I like in the AFC right now definitely has to be, in my opinion, would be the Patriots or the Titans right now.
Hashtag Tennessee.
I got to give Tennessee some love. Shout out to my homie Alex. He's a Tennessee Titans fan too. I hate to give them kudos, but I mean, when you're winning with Ryan Tannehill and literally no backfield against okay opponents, I mean that says something. That definitely says something. Real quick before we close out this segment, K-Dot actually asked me to add this to the outline, the COVID protocols, like what's happening in the NFL with COVID, with the Omicron variant. And reportedly, there's up to 100 players who have now entered COVID-19 protocols due to the Omicron variant or just testing positive for COVID-19. And what the NFL is doing right now is actually pretty smart. They are postponing games, kind of like what we saw in 2020, where the stop of play isn't really an option. They're just going to push it out. But players are starting to go after the NFLPA because of these decisions. And it's strange because they're saying that there are inconsistencies in how they're testing and how many teams are being tested and that sort of thing. So to me, it's crazy that we're still here in 2021. It's crazy. I thought we would be past this. The good news is that the NFL is doing everything that they can to keep these players safe. But what do you guys think about, the postponement of games and delaying, play until Tuesday? Actually, 2 teams play on Tuesday, which is going to be fantastic. I love it. But what do you guys think about the delay games? AP, what you got?
I think that it can go one of 2 ways. The jerk in me feels like, the play must go on, and who you got, that's kind of how we ended last year. You know what I mean? People just did what they could with who they had, whether they were sick or not. They didn't have all these protocols in place when COVID first rolled out. So I kind of feel like, that works. It just kind of goes with the, with the way that life works. Mm-hmm. But at the same token, it does make it gives everybody just kind of like that fairness. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want teams to be unfairly judged or, beaten because they don't have all their star players, because everybody got sick.
Right.
But it's everybody. The NBA is doing it. NHL is now postponing and canceling and moving people around, and NFL also definitely by far has the biggest spread right now. But I mean, it's not looking good. And all of these seasons are headed towards the playoff runs. It's scary. I don't know if we can do another bubble for NBA, and I don't think that they figure out a way to do it for the NFL. That was the problem last year. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, let's wait and see. K-Dot, what you got?
The power of the shield. The show will go on. Whether it's delayed, the idea of a canceled season, I mean, the show will go on. I mean, and mathematically, looking at like 100 positive tests in the last few days, it's about 2,500 people in the NFL between coaches and players. So that's what
You told me a percentage earlier. What was that percentage?
about 3 or 4%.
That's very minute.
The show will go on.
Yeah.
So it's all about perspective. They are seeing more tests, and it's an upward tick. So you want to get ahead of it and try and change your protocols, do something better, right? But is it catastrophic? Is it the point where they have to shut down shop and start again? No. The Super Bowl will happen on its scheduled date, and I don't see anything slowing it down. If they have to push it back a couple of days so you can get that negative test, fine. But yeah, it's I think maybe a bit of overreaction. I'm not downplaying by any means the severity of the virus and everything going on, but it's still a business,
Right?
I mean, you may lose some depth, and when you start seeing star players go out, that's unfortunate during the fantasy football playoffs. Not to be selfish, but that's where my head goes. I mean, but these guys aren't being hospitalized. The cases is not anything that's dire or life threatening, seemingly. So it's been. Again, I think they're trying to get ahead of it, be proactive, and show that they're doing what they can to make sure it's we don't backslide as compared to what happened in all of 2020. Right? We've seen this, right? So now that we're more prepared and more apt, we can better assess and not let it get out of control like before.
Yeah, and it seems like the league actually has a hold on it. Actually, the WHO has a hold on it. They're saying that it's. And again, I'm not questioning the severity of this pandemic or this virus or whatsoever. But they're saying fatalities may not happen. I mean, you may have mild symptoms, but we're not having severe symptoms with this Omicron variant.
Yeah.
Which is a good sign. That means that we won't overwhelm our medical, our medical industry, our hospitals and all that stuff. But at the same token, got to kind of stop the contagion surrounding the Omicron variant. So I think they'll continue to play. I don't think they'll change much, but it is good to see that they're acting quickly and they're being proactive versus being caught, 2 weeks in, and they're like, oh, well, we have 2,400 players who are positive now.
Right.
So we have to cancel the season. So I think they've done a great job of attacking it.
And being calm in their approach as opposed to buy toilet paper. Like, no, y'all, chill out, y'all. Hold up. Like, no, it's just.
How you gonna take out toilet paper, man? I can't wipe my ass now.
Like we learned some shit last year, so let's apply what we learned.
First thing we learned from the pandemic was don't buy all the damn toilet paper.
No, we learned that. A lot of people didn't learn that, apparently.
That's true. I mean, actually at Sam's Club, they're still doing the one per household. I'm like, yo, it's 8 rolls in here.
Yeah, they ain't bounced back from last year.
It's crazy. And with the shortages, I don't even want to get into that. Hey, thank you guys for tuning in to Notes by Notes, season 3, episode 13. Real quick, before we head out of here, because we're not going to be here next week. It's Christmas, Christmas Eve,
Hey, y'all, real talk, though. He tried to make us do an episode next week because he's a Grinch. We talked about how much he hates Christmas. He's like, y'all coming in, right? Like,
by
what?
humbug,
Nah.
sports.
Like,
Look, fam. Hey, I'm just trying to, we got to keep the content coming. You know what I'm saying? A couple of ho-ho-hos over, some mics and stuff ain't going to hurt. You know what I'm saying?
We're here for y'all.
We're here for y'all, but not Jay. No, I'm kidding. So y'all would be surprised here. It's very ironic that AP's over here jamming out to
Christmas in July.
It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas.
You're a mean one, Mr.
Mr.
Noakes.
Oh! Whoa, I feel seen.
Tiny little heart.
Oh, my God. So real quick, here's the fantasy football update. 6 teams out of 12 teams made it to the playoffs. Out of the top 6, of course, number 1, my beautiful brown sugar.
Get him.
Amber Renee Noakes. Quarterback sitting at the first spot. She has a first round bye this week. Then second place, we have hashtag Lamb Chops with a 10-4 record, who is scheduled to take on, I believe, the fantasy football team. And then the fantasy football team's at the third spot. And then number 4, my favorite team, Country Roads, Take Me Homes, sitting at the 5th or 4th spot. And then yours truly sitting at the 5th spot, I Wish You Would. And then number 6.
There it is. I was waiting for
Oh, we missed it last week.
I missed y'all too. Half Chubb, I missed you. You need to come on, Chubby. One chubby. Two chubby.
A big.
1, don't you feel dumb? 2, look at you.
Oh my God, a big. What's wrong with you, chubby boy? Oh my God. So those are your 6 playoff teams. Ironically, I actually played Country Roads Take Mahomes. So it's my favorite team name, and I'm playing them in the first round of the playoffs.
Nice.
And I am projected to lose. So, yeah, there you have it. Oh, yeah, let me not forget about the consolation teams here. I mean, it doesn't really matter, but I'll say your names anyways. Number 7, you got Jack's Genius Team. Yeah, they get a participation trophy here. There you go. Kelly's not clapping. He's like, bleh.
You get a little.
You get a little applause. Number 8, Taking Out the Trash. He's killing me with the little golf clap. Number 9, the Jalen Hurts.
And then the worst name coming in at number 10?
Nah, Dak to the Future.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Dak. The worst name on here is Jack's Genius Team.
That's why I didn't clap.
Oh,
You got to earn that.
So number 10 is Dak to the Future. Number 11 is Zach's Crazy Team. That's the homie. So they are competing for the consolation, I think, 7th place. So, they're doing their thing. Remember, if me or my wife wins the fantasy football championship, all proceeds for this fantasy football league goes to
Vegas. Oh, no. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Damn, Kelly. It goes to the family of my homie, my old colleague, Josh Davis, who passed over 2 months ago. So we're going to hook up his family if me and the wife actually end up winning. So it's going to go to a good cause. For the rest of you better keep that money in your pocket and buy your wives some and your husbands, wherever you are. Better buy them something.
You're not
Christmas.
going home empty-handed, because us here at the Notes by Noakes studio, we've been saving all our empty beer cans for you.
Exactly.
We're going to send them to you.
You know what we do with these? We collect 5 cents at the recycling plant, okay?
For you, losing teams. It's for you.
Oh, man. Well, it's been a pleasure. Episode 13 is in the books. We are looking forward to a beautiful Christmas and a happy New Year. K.AP, y'all got anything to say before we head out?
Happy Merry Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, everybody.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Yeah.
It sounds like some Houston Vegas stuff. Just blend it all together. Well, folks, we want to thank you guys for rocking with us again on Facebook and YouTube. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. We are at 176 subs on YouTube. On YouTube, that's pretty solid, but we're 24 away from our goal.
Yep.
So we want to get to 200 before the end of the new year. If you could share with your friends, family members, all sports lovers, tell them that we do a fiery show every single week, Saturday at 10 a.m. on Facebook and YouTube. And yeah, just let them know about us. That's it. That's all we got. So we will see you guys in the next couple of weeks. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year's. And we are out.